Hey guys, what is going on? This is Ip of RageQuitTV. Gonna be casting a game between Inception, who is rumored this is either one of Beyond's or Maka Smurfs, and Yosh, also known as LastShadow or LS. He probably wants me to call him LS, but out of habit, I will be calling him LastShadow all throughout this cast. It is a TVT on the Shadowed Temple. LastShadow spawns in the 12 o'clock position as the blue Terran, and Inception spawns as the red Terran just across from him over at the 3 o'clock position. It is TVT on the Shadowed Temple. I don't really know how this game is going to go. I don't cast too many TVTs, but both players will be throwing down a 10 supply depot. LastShadow, he is known for his intelligence in the game. He does some very insightful vlogs. If you want to see them, just go to my channel page, youtube.com. That supply depot was really late, but go to my YouTube page, and his link is like in the bottom right of my channel. So if you want to watch some Terran vlogs, definitely go do it. They are very insightful, and you can see Inception supply depot finishing quite a bit earlier than LastShadow because LastShadow did throw his down about 10 seconds late, and he is very concerned about his speed. So he may have been just spamming away and daydreamed a little bit. I was like, oh crap, I'm at 9 supply. Better build my supply depot. And looks like he's trying to decide when he wants to build his barracks. There we go. LastShadow is going to throw down his barracks. Inception has his out just a little bit earlier because he did go for the supply depot right at the normal time while LastShadow was late. A little bit of a deviation there as LastShadow is going for a gas. And now this SCV is going out to scout so we can see exactly what Maka is up to. Well, not Maka, Inception. He may be Maka, he may not, but we do have another barracks going down. So this is a 2-Rax play. And LastShadow is coming out to scout and yes, he will get to scout this one barracks, so he knows it is there. Gonna be just going away, starting to hit this one SCV, stop the production on this. It is a 2-Rax play, and now this barracks is delayed. We'll see how LastShadow does end up dealing with this, sending out some more SCVs. Another one is going down, probably to us. Just delay this barracks as long as possible. We do have an SCV going to start construction on that, but LastShadow has his SCVs pulling back, so I'm not exactly sure what he is doing with those SCVs. We do have this SCV pulled off the line while LastShadow does take out that one bunker, and maybe he brought more SCVs in case Inception brought more SCVs to build this barracks, and LastShadow is going to deal with that. We do have Inception with the Marine out, going to be fending this off, and now going to finally be able to complete this barracks in peace. But LastShadow does have a few roaming SCVs, 16 SCVs, 16 SCVs. LastShadow is going for a Reaper, and this is very good. If he does have a high ground, can kill 1 or 2 Marines before they even make it to the ramp, and also can go put immediate pressure on the Inception's base. 2 SCVs going down. That just keeping an eye out, see where those Marines are, because he's going to be able to easily hop down here, up here, and go in and kill a few SCVs, and then bring his Reaper back very quickly. It's like half the distance for the Reaper to get between base to base, maybe even more. And there we go, the Reaper is going to be coming in. We'll get a few SCV kills. SCVs immediately pulled off the line. One goes down, some nice target firing by LastShadow. Make sure he only hits the same SCV. Reaper taking a little bit of damage, but he has killed 3 SCVs thus far. Going up for 4, and now will be getting even more. This Reaper up to 5 kills, 6 kills, 7 kills, then goes down. We do have Inception, though, going to be moving out with a few Marines. LastShadow does have another Reaper out, a bunker up, and another one building. So he should be able to deal with this. Reapers and bunkers just demolish Marines because they do 2-shot them. This one SCV is going to be going down. Does get to see the factory being built. Inception is going to be falling back. He does have his expansion on the way. So Inception will be ahead on the economy. LastShadow now just starting his. And that one Marine, as I said, the Reaper in the high ground can just kill Marines before they even make it to it. And now LastShadow can use this one Reaper to get a little bit more scouting, because even though he killed a lot of SCVs, I don't know if he actually made his way up to this gas, so he doesn't know exactly what the Terran player is doing. We do have the Marines just guarding that one high ground. The Reaper kills one and jumps back on down. He is going to regroup with his brother. This one is going to go into the bunker, and LastShadow may use this one to go out and scout. This one barrack still here. It was building a few Marines. Inception just going on his expand. And we'll see exactly what LastShadow ends up doing. He is getting a starport right now on this one tech lab. And my apologies there, my phone was actually ringing, so I had to turn that off. But the Reaper's now going to come in. This is 2 full life. Reaper's going to go straight for those SCVs. A missile turret is on the way. Those Reapers do delay that by killing off that one SCV. And now the Reaper's going to be going over into the mineral line and killing one SCV, and now they are kind of trapped, and yes, they will go down. But LastShadow did get kind of a scout on what Inception has. Just seeing pure Marines at this part of the game, he can probably assume there is an expansion down here. We do have a bunker being built. Banshee is going to be coming out. I'm kind of curious if he is going to stick with that and get cloaked, since Inception has already started missile turrets. Did see the barracks back here, the factory being built at this wall, the tech lab on the barracks, so maybe that's what tipped him off, that Banshees may be coming. LastShadow now going to start mining at his expansion, going to the worker count. It is 27 for LastShadow, 22 for Inception. And going over to the supply, 36 to 39. Inception does have quite a few Marines just sitting here protecting this. Doesn't have Stim on the way. Is getting a tech lab, and this will be for Stim. Actually getting combat shields first. A little bit odd if he thinks Banshees are coming out, because Stim helps against Banshees so much. You can catch up to them and take them out. So maybe he's thinking LastShadow, since he saw the missile turret, that he won't be going for Banshees after all, because it's kind of already been thought about. But LastShadow is going to keep on going with Banshees. Has even another one on the way, and the Banshee now going to be going into this middle line, killing that one injured SCV immediately. Now the Banshee does go up to 3 kills. Is going to be falling back, just going to take out this one supply depot, doing whatever damage he can, while he does get more Banshees up to take out units quicker. This turret is going to be being built, and it may be a little bit of a mistake, I think, of LastShadow to just take out the supply depot, but he is focusing on macro right now, not really wanting to micro the Banshee too much. As you do see, this isn't really like an all-in at all, just kind of a poke. He could maximize the damage by just staying by this middle line, going on the high ground and playing fancy like that, but it would take a lot of attention, and LastShadow just trying to get a Marine tank push up. It looks like going to be taking out these rocks to go on a third base. Does have 2 tanks already out, siege mode on the way with 2 more factories, so LastShadow is going to be playing this with a heavy mech. We do have medevacs on the way for Inception, but they are supply blocked, and now with 2 Banshees here, you can just one volley those SCVs, taking out even more. 17 SCVs have been killed thus far. The aggression from LastShadow is relentless. And now there's Banshee is going to be pulling back. We do have Inception sitting on this watchtower, so you can see if LastShadow wants to go into the natural. He's not going to keep too many units here unless he sees LastShadow moving on out. LastShadow's Banshees do come back, going to be getting repaired. The missile turret's going up for LastShadow, so he will be able to deal with the drops. The Banshees did see that one. No, they didn't see the starport with the reactor on it. So he doesn't know drops are coming, but he may just assume it. Factory is going to be floating to kind of just act as an overlord, just get vision of this area, so if he sees a drop coming, he can react appropriately. We do have blue flames on the way for LastShadow because he is going with heavy mech, and it looks like Inception is going to go for some Marine tank. It is 70 supply, 287, 37 SCVs for Inception, while we have 52 for LastShadow. As Medevac wants to go up, but he does see those missile turrets, and the Viking just going to be poking at this one barracks. We do have the double Banshees without cloak. Going to be going in for a little bit more, but the Viking is hot on the trail. Going to be taking these Banshees out, but they may kill maybe like 5 SCVs. We'll see exactly how many. There goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he may get 7. The SCV is getting repaired, but it does get 7. Do have a SCV for LastShadow going out to scout, while we have Inception just trying to macro up a force. He is again going bio against LastShadow's mech, and LastShadow does have a Raven out so he can protect Banshees, and also will have point defense drone against Marauders if they want to take out those tanks. So LastShadow in a very commanding position, but the way that Inception is playing, he does have an edge right now. As LastShadow wants to take his third base, it's going to be very hard for him to defend, and if Inception can put pressure on everywhere, he will do just fine. We do have a supply depot down here that could easily get picked off, and Inception is going to be moving in. He is at mainly just Marines, while LastShadow has a buttload of tanks. And now the siege mode has been spotted. A scan did go down. See this army composition, and we'll see exactly how Inception ends up transitioning to deal with this, because right now, this pure Marine Fireball cannot engage this heads up. That is a lot of Blue Flame Hellions and siege tanks. So it looks like this force is going to take out these rocks. LastShadow going to go to set a contain up, but doesn't know that Inception is right at his back door, going to be abusing him from the rear. We do have a supply depot kind of built here just so LastShadow can see when this base ends up getting taken. He is Inception actually is going for his third base. LastShadow already halfway done, but here we go. That Bioforce is coming in. LastShadow is staging up down here. The 3 Vikings to these 2 Marines on this low ground, just shooting those Vikings. Vikings going to be pulling back near this one missile start. This one command center is going to get killed, does not get canceled. That is a big blunder by LastShadow. This Bioforce is going to come in, throws a scan, kind of sees the tank going in siege mode, and Inception, decides, okay, let's go on back. But this LastShadow did throw a scan, sees that force, and these tanks can go right here, siege up, and trap all this bio in place. And it looks like LastShadow is going to be doing that. Just has to set up a few tanks right here in siege mode. And this force will be easily dealt with. Inception not using hit siege mode just yet. Hellions going to be coming in, and oh my god, those Marines are going to get toasted. But LastShadow not microing his Hellions, getting up close and personal to those Marines, allowing those Marines to do a lot of damage. All the Hellions go down, and we do have an auto turret being produced to kind of just aid this. The tanks do take out that one tank, and LastShadow does defend that. He did lose his command center. He has started rebuilding it, but we do have Inception now moving his third base into an orbital command, and that was a big mistake by LastShadow. If you want to engage Hellions with any ranged units, you want to shoot, move closer, shoot, move closer until you're in like melee distance, because they kind of have that splash. This one Hellion, he shoots like stupid Marauders do get in the way, but hopefully you know what I'm talking about. The Hellions, if the Marauders are right, get a shot off. Okay, he's not going to get a shot off. We do have Inception with a very nice position with these tanks. However, LastShadow does have the air dominance, so he can unsiege his tanks and move forward and slowly pick off the tanks. But that was what I was saying. This Hellion, he shoots like this. And right where my mouse is where the unit is. So all the damage between him, that is just wasted. If you get melee distance, you can use that area for damage. Instead of hitting like 2 units, you hit like 5 or 6. That is a huge difference. We do have tanks sieging up, and a few Marauders do come out, but there is a point defense drone, allowing those tanks to do very well against the Marauders. A Thor does come out, and the Thor is going to take out 1 tank, 2 tanks, and won't get the 3rd tank. Those Vikings were clumped up a little bit risky. And Inception just setting up a very nice position. And I gotta admit, I am surprised that Inception is only 16 food behind. Despite losing so many workers, the resources lost time is very even. 24 workers killed to the 3. And it looks like Inception wants to break this. We do have a lot of Hellions coming in from the back. This one Thor can't decide what he wants to do. The Vikings flying overhead. Now going to be landing on top of these tanks. The Thor and tanks are going to be going down to this Viking fire. We do have a few Vikings going to be going down, and LastShadow may lose his air dominance, but he does keep a lot of those Vikings alive. That is always a risky move because Inception is hiding a lot of Vikings back here. So if these Vikings did go down, then Inception would have air dominance. If he had a few Banshees, he could kill these tanks. So LastShadow has to be very careful when landing those Vikings. Can feel great to kill a bunch of units, but you don't want to lose that air dominance because once you lose it, it is so hard to get it back. We do have LastShadow now going to be killing off all of Inception's Vikings. Inception going to be flying those on back. And the tank's going to be unsieging. This one is going to try to run away. We do have LastShadow now on 3 bases. The work count is 68 to 67 with LastShadow ahead by 1. The tank's going to be trying to get in position. SCV is repairing this one tank. And LastShadow just dancing along the edge of this. And you can see he can hit the SCVs, but not the actual tank. This one barracks is going to be going down. The Marines being produced, and those will not even get a chance to come out. Actually, 2 may come out, and as soon as they come out, it wouldn't surprise me if they end up dying. One goes braving through those shot cannons, ends up living. And LastShadow turtling up the half of the map. We do have a handful of Marauders and Marines, and I mean a handful, only 5 units just moving out across, going to try to do what damage they can. And LastShadow is very immobile. He doesn't have that many Hellions anymore, only at 4. And his main force is tanks. He is switching up into Banshees. It looks like he is getting 1 Banshee out right now because he does have air dominance. But the Thors are out, and those Thors will help in any battle. If LastShadow clumps up his Vikings, then Inception can easily take that air dominance. And here we go. That small force is going to be coming in here, forcing LastShadow to pull a lot of SCVs. This is a lot of mining time wasted. The 3 Hellions do come, but those will be no match against Inception's Marauders. Both players do have 1-0 upgrades. LastShadow's is on the mech. Inception's is on the bio. But Inception has started his +2. And those 3 Marauders going to come in and try to do a little bit more. SCV is pulled off, going to try to deal with these Marauders. The Banshee is coming. And no, they're just going to be going back to mine because the Banshee is out to clean that up. We still have the big Turtle Siege right here. And it looks like Inception wants to break that. It's like, oh no, I lost a tank. Never mind. And LastShadow is going to start putting the command centers here for planetary fortresses and just try to choke Inception out. He is getting another command center, going to be taking over this gold base as the SCV tries to take out these destructible rocks. That will be a very long time. And you can see that Inception wants to do the same thing again, just sneak a few units, but LastShadow was building a supply depot here, just like he's done over at the 6 o'clock position, just to give him a little bit of vision. And this command center is going to start. Will it go down instantly? Inception doesn't see it yet. Here we go. He does see it. And it does get canceled this time around, so good cancel on that. Do have the Banshee doing quite a bit of damage, just one Banshee with all these Vikings. Scan going down on this force, just seeing what Inception does have. Few Thors, few Vikings, lots of tanks. And LastShadow is now going to be taking the gold base. Banshee going to do what damage it can. These Vikings may just land to help take out these destructible rocks. Lots of SCVs are transferring on over. And we do have Inception taking advantage that he has air control right now, going to be able to take out one tank, and that is because LastShadow's Vikings are way back here, nowhere near. One tank does go down. LastShadow does throw a scan to kill off one of Inception's tanks, and they are still just at this standstill at the middle of the map. LastShadow going to keep on scanning until his Vikings do get back going into this. We don't have the Raven out anymore, so no point defense drones. Going to the Viking count, it is 14 for LastShadow, 11 for Inception. And neither player does have air upgrades, not getting those air upgrades just yet. And it is still just a standstill, but there is a Viking on Viking engagement. Those Thors will play a pivotal role. We do have SCV is going to be transferring on over. And LastShadow does have one Reaper right here, just keeping an eye on this base. Command center does go be constructed, and the Reaper's going to take out all the SCVs. Lots of tanks coming in. That may be a mistake. LastShadow may be overextending. Does lose 2 of them. Now the tank's going to siege up, kill this one missile turret, and get actually a tank out, it looks like. Vikings are going over to give LastShadow some air vision. And we do have a Viking battle briefly, and this one Banshee now going to be taking out these tanks. Inception does have to move on back. This Reaper does kill both of those command centers. No cancel on either of those. Inception was bringing his Thors on over, is going to be taking the 4th base at the gold. And LastShadow's contained. Looks like he is starting to starve Inception out. Inception cannot really get bases. This one supply depot being the utmost annoying. And it looks like we do have LastShadow going for a +2 mech upgrades. Neither player, again, still getting that air upgrade. And that could be very good because it is going to come down to these Viking battles, it looks like. Going into, do we see any real tech switches? We do have these 2 command centers going on. And if he gets all these bases up, this contain isn't going to really do all that much. LastShadow is going to abuse that he does have air control, and now going to be bringing his few Banshees over with all the Vikings to stop these bases from going down. 3 mules do get called. That is a little bit odd. And now LastShadow is going to be taking out this command center. The Thors are here. And going to start laying down the volleys. The command center does get canceled, but everything is clumped up. One Banshee does go down. Doesn't look like the splash did all that much. And LastShadow just trying to keep Inception from expanding. And tank's going to be unsieging for LastShadow. Going to be moving in. And Inception is going to get a few missile turrets so he can defend against this the next time, or at least deter it a little bit. Thor's on patrol up here. Going to start attacking all the Hellions and tanks. Take out that one Thor near instantaneously. Big Viking battle going on. It looks like LastShadow may win this. No, never mind. They do pull away. And Inception has so many missile turrets right here, but doesn't have any over here. He would be vulnerable to any type of drop play. But LastShadow has so much food tied up in these tanks, he can't really do those big drops. And Inception has just about the same number tied up in tanks. I saw a fusion core being built, 14 tanks to 13 tanks. Inception actually ahead, now LastShadow is ahead. And LastShadow is going to transition into battle cruisers right now. And the one missile turret does end up going down to this one tank again. LastShadow just trying to starve Inception out. And oh man, that one tank is going to be falling and doing a little bit of damage to the tanks around it. SCV is going to start repairing all of the Vikings. And the command centers are going to finish. Inception has so many of them, just going to get a lot of orbital commands and start sacrificing SCVs and going for that mule power. But I'm really interested to see when the Banshees, or not Banshees, battle cruisers do start making their way out, because that will be definitely very, very interesting. SCVs for Inception going to repair those tanks. Mules being called down actually takes out one tank. Very nice job there. LastShadow is going to get a missile turret up just to fortify his contain. Does have the PF, and you can just see that tank line. Oh, man. Is that definitely a line of death. Having a few tanks out of siege mode, I don't think that's a mistake. I think it's in case that Inception decides to move out anywhere. LastShadow has these few tanks in the back that are mobile. He can either commit these immediately to the left side or the right side. Very nice play by LastShadow with that, and Inception doing the same thing. So keeping a few tanks out of siege mode is not a mistake. It is definitely something that is very high level. And these tanks kind of just act like a buffer. They're going to absorb a few seconds. If LastShadow wants to move here, well, he can't just A-move. These tanks will slow him down by at least 10 seconds, allowing these tanks in the back to just move over and get into a siege position. So both players doing that. And going over to air control, we do have 15 Vikings to 10 Vikings. And tanks are going to be going down. We do have LastShadow still not taking this one base. Inception mining off of one full base more than LastShadow. And look at that income go. Man, he may have been stunted in the early game, but this late game he is showing us how much income he has. And we do have Yamato Gun, or Weapon Rift. Refit? I don't even know what that is. I think it's the energy upgrade for the battlecruisers with 2 BCs being produced. And these tanks are going to go down slowly, but this does give LastShadow a little bit more supply for those BCs. You do see him, well, he is starved on minerals and gas. So we do have a scan going down. Wrong position. He wanted to scan right here. Thought these tanks were the ones attacking him, when in reality it was this one tank up to 3 kills. That guy still a recruit. And these tanks in the back getting some kill steals off on some SCVs. LastShadow now going to be finally taking his last base. And still just a giant fortified position, but LastShadow going to be hiding those battle cruisers way off in the back going into this Viking count, though. We do actually still have LastShadow ahead on that Viking count. He has that 1-1 upgrades on that air, while Inception doesn't have any upgrades. So it looks like this tech switch by LastShadow may just be absolutely brutal. But you gotta keep in mind, those Thors do have 3 weapon upgrades, so they will do decent damage against those BCs. LastShadow, though, going to be going on his level, no, Inception getting 1-1 on his ships, and LastShadow not getting any more upgrades on his ships. Lots of SCVs now being sacrificed by Inception, just so he can build more and more stuff. You can see Inception keeping all of his tanks, or at least half his tanks, it looks like, just unsieged. So when LastShadow does commit to a side, he can just put those tanks into position. Can't really decide where he wants to go. Additionally, if he notices this position is weak, he can bring his tanks up here and start doing a sideways push on LastShadow. BCs end up showing themselves. The scan does go down. That is 3 battlecruisers. We do have a lot of Vikings and Thors coming out for Inception. And oh my god, LastShadow has to be careful. Those Vikings are so clumped up. A few volleys will turn the tide of this air control instantaneously. And keep in mind, those Vikings don't have that much armor. They're only at 1 armor, while these Thors are at 3 attack. So a volley from 3 Thors will definitely do a lot of damage to this horde of Vikings. And it looks like Inception trying to get into position to do just that. LastShadow throws the scan, does see where the Thors are at. A few tanks just sieging up down here. We don't have LastShadow moving in just yet. Scan goes down so we can see where this air army is. And it's just still a game of stalemate. LastShadow wants to move up, but he is scared of all these Thors. Battlecrew's going to lead the way, going to immediately try to take out all the Thors, prevent them from using their Javelin missiles on the Vikings. And it looks like they're not doing it anyways on the Battlecruisers. That is a bit of a mistake. We do have an air battle now going down. LastShadow moving back because the Thors have arrived yet again. And how funny would it be if Battlecruisers were as fast as Mutalisks? Oh, wait! It's going to happen in Heart of the Swarm. They will have a upgrade. That is a little bit of a speed boost. The one Banshee does cloak, going to start trying to take out the Thor. Scan goes down, and oh man, did that Banshee just fall? So can you imagine if that was the Vikings? Oh man, would the Vikings just fall so quickly? Tank sieging up in the middle. And that's still a lot of Battlecruiser from LastShadow. And we do have Inception going to be taking out this one tank. It looks like he does, 3 tanks actually. He has vision, LastShadow doesn't have vision up here, so those tanks will be donated to Inception's army. Scan going down on Inception. LastShadow still just flying around with his air Terran. He has slowly just sacrificed his tanks down to 16, while Inception has 26 and built up a massive air army. And this one BC may want to get repaired. He's at 30 health left. More tanks going to be falling, but these tanks for Inception are going to do absolutely nothing in the later game than this. Just because, well, LastShadow is all air. He's like, oh, LOL, you only attack ground? Sucks to be you. Inception. He does have a decent Viking count, is at 1-2, getting that armor upgrade. Is getting, oh no, LastShadow is getting Seeker Missile, so he will have AoE of his own, along with getting 3 Ravens, so now making yet another tech switch into Ravens. And does he have that Corvid reactor? I believe that's called, no, he doesn't. That would just increase the Raven energy so he could seek a missile all the sooner. And Inception, I don't know what he can do. We'll see if he can work some magic on all these Vikings. If he takes out all the Vikings with his Thors, he will very much be back in this game. LastShadow going to take out that Starport. No, the Vikings do come. And here we go. We do have a air-on-air battle. LastShadow does not want to engage us until he has his Ravens out with energy to seek a missile. He actually has a few, it looks like, with energy. Can he shoot any of them? No, he can't. He doesn't have any energy to do the Seeker Missile. He could just do a lot of point defense turns, but then the Vikings would just fly away. He would be able to kill the Thors after point defense turns, though, so that is still a possibility. Scans going down. LastShadow trying to mark where he wants to go in. And, man, does he have a lot of Vikings. 3-3 is on the way for both players. LastShadow just putting more and more Ravens right now. We do have a lot of tanks now going to be moving because he's realized, okay, my tanks are worthless except for killing buildings. So that is what he's going to be using them for. We do have LastShadow bring his air fleet over to deal with those few tanks. And the tanks do get spotted and now just going to be retreating. Inception is definitely in a little bit of a pickle. We'll have 3-3 shortly, but LastShadow will also have 3-3 shortly, and the Viking count is tremendously different. 10 in the favor of LastShadow, along with their 6 BCs, and not to mention Ravens for point defense drone and Seeker Missile. So we'll see if Inception can pull off some magic micro to deal with all this. He does still have 3 Thors, so those Thors can turn the tide of this battle. It is going to be unlikely, but it is still possible. LastShadow now going to be moving in here. And there's Vikings getting up close, and there we go. 2 Seeker Missiles go off on those Vikings. But the Vikings are going to be able to retreat, but it looks like the Seeker Missiles are actually a little bit faster. Only gets 2. Nice splitting. But that does allow the BCs to take out the Thors, and now the Vikings can get into position. The Thors not targeting the Vikings. And point defense do get targeted down, but Inception does not have a Viking count anymore. And it's now 8 Vikings, 7 Vikings, 234. LastShadow is going to be able to take out Inception with this air dominance at the late game. Very nice tech switch. And the one Thor going to try to do what he can, but again, so many Vikings, so many BCs, and the tank's going to be falling. It looks like Inception not ready to give this one up just yet, but it is 1-8 supply 2, 124, and LastShadow just has mass BCs now, and mass BCs are pretty darn scary when you don't have mass Vikings out, and I don't even think he has the infrastructure to go for like 20 Vikings at once. So Inception may have a lot of money, but doesn't have the tech to build stuff. And isn't even building stuff. Is he doing anything? APM tab? Yeah, he is doing things. I don't know what he's doing, but he's got things going down. Don't worry, he has activities. And there's Vikings. Oh my god, losing so many Vikings. We do have 3 BCs out for LastShadow that do show themselves. I almost said for Inception, but Inception does throw the game there. Not throw it, but throw out the GG. So that is LastShadow's win. APM tab, I'm not going to go over this too much. I mean, it's pretty much just straight up transitioning from LastShadow that won him that game. It was a siege tank line in the middle. LastShadow kind of took the saying, well, you're going to have to build a lot of tanks. You're on the defensive. You can't really see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to switch over into air play. And I liked how slowly he transitioned into the mass Vikings. And then getting into mass BCs after that. Going into this units produced. I guess that's what we'll look at. That's not it. Builds tech. So we do have 23 BCs for LastShadow, 87 Vikings, 70 tanks, 66 Hellions, 117 Marines for Inception, 89 Vikings, 61 tanks, 27 Marauders, 17 Thors. Hope you enjoyed that game. Sorry, TVTs sometimes do end up in that total fest, but I know some people actually are sick and twisted and enjoy that. Take care, guys, and I will see you tomorrow.